Hello Internet, I'm HamsterBomb, and you guys are joining me for another figure review video, and look at this. Figma, good smile, thank you so much for reprinting the Pixie Figma from Shin Megami Tensei. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited that this actually got redone. I love Shin Megami Tensei. I missed out when they first made Pixie a long while ago. They've made so many Persona Figmas, but not Shin Megami Tensei. We do have the Demi-Fiend, who we're actually going to be talking about a little bit in here, and a Raido Kuzunoa Figma, which I do have pre-ordered and will eventually get to review when it does come in, so keep that eye open for that video as well. There was a poll that Max Factory and Good Smile put up asking anyone for any figures that they would like reprinted, and I made sure that I had an account made specifically so I could get in there and tell them, I want Pixie. Of all the things you've got, Pixie is what would get my money, I'm telling you. And look, they did it. This is super exciting to get this. I hope that because they are reprinting this, maybe that they have a little bit more funds for Shin Megami Tensei and they're going to want to make some better stuff for them too. There was a prototype angel that they made at one point in time, but it never got past the sculpt phase and it never was painted. And therefore, you know, the product was never released. There's all sorts of products that have never made it past this point, and it's unfortunate to see that one of the Shin Megami Tensei ones was like that. Maybe because Pixie coming back, they're going to start making more of these. I don't know. That'd be very exciting to see more demons or main characters. That would be wonderful. But anyway, let's start by taking a look at her box first. This is the re-release of Pixie, so there may be differences in the original, which I can't compare to. I don't have. So this is what we're going to be looking at today. Here's the logo, Shin Megami Tensei. Take my word for it, that's what it says. Down here in the corner, the Atlas Sega Jack Frost icon is a sticker, so make sure that is a sticker on yours if you are concerned that you have a bootleg or something like that. There are a bunch of bootlegs for Pixie. I was even considering getting one during the long wait period if I never expected they were going to reprint this at any point, so I was expecting I'm just going to have to get a bootleg, which would really stink. There's all sorts of photos of Pixie on here, but luckily no, I was able to get a real one, and this, man, it's so expensive. It was very expensive, trying to get a Pixie before this reprint happened, so I'm very happy that we do have the reprint. Let's take a look at the instructions. This will give us a quick look at the accessories and whatnot that are going to come in the box. On one side, don't be discouraged, is the Japanese. The other side, I love that they do this now, this is such a relief, is in English. Wonderful. They took them a long time to finally give us English on the instructions for these. As you can see, her wings do come off, and she came in the box. You can actually see where the wings were. So that is something that I want to talk about. This is actually a slightly smaller Figma than some of the other ones, and that's why I have Demi-Fiend up here so we can compare the sizes. Let's look at her accessories that she did come with. It's not much, though regardless, every time you always get a Figma bag. I love these things because it keeps all of my accessories for these things organized. I really appreciate this, coming in its own little baggie. This is an extra joint if something were to go wrong with either an ankle or a wrist. I assume just a wrist, not the ankles are probably their own thing. But this is funny because I just did a video reviewing the Solid Snake Figma, who was also reprinted, and his extra joint did not come in a little baggie. I want to keep that separated and secure. This is Pixie's alternate face. I really should say this is her regular face that she comes with out of the box. I did switch her to having a different face, if we can kind of see it, just with the eyes looking to the side, which she does in her key art, which is why I'm kind of replicating that with the pose that we have in the background that you've probably already figured out what I was doing. But anyway, yep, she has two different faces, and they're really not very different, but what are you expecting? It was just a Pixie. Here we go for the extra hands. The hands that I have on her right now are both her open hands, and other than that, we have fists, and we have her being able to grab things, even though they aren't things that came in her set, so maybe I can take that Metal Gear Solid kit and give her a gun. I don't know, for her neutral special, she wields a gun. And we have pointing fingers, which, yeah, that's also a very Pixie thing to do. So just lots of general cutesy stuff. She doesn't come with too much, and I'm not really expecting a lot, but hey, that's all we need to look at. Let's take a look at Pixie. And here she is. I am going to move her out of her key art pose just so that we can take a look at what the actual Figma looks like on here. And hey, that's a perfect time for something to come off, because I'm going to show you what these pieces do. I know that it looks kind of scary that it just kind of came off like that, but I promise it will be okay. I say that, but the other one actually is pretty snug on there, so we're going to leave it for now. This one, however, is a good example for us to take a look at. This is a piece of the wing, and it is not broken. There is a tiny little hole here, and the way that this works is there is a peg on the back of the wing. There you can see it, and it just slides right back on there, like so. There we go, and it is reattached. Excellent, that's all you've got to do. It is a little delicate on one of the wings. You know, you can see mine, it's kind of coming off, but it's truly not that big of a deal. It stays very snug when you have her actually posed somewhere. These are the extra hands that we didn't see, the outstretched open hands. In fact, her middle and ring fingers are molded together as one. I think that's just a thing that she does in the art anyway, so these are generally probably going to be staying on her for most of the time. And let's take a look at what would probably be the most interesting thing, the wings first. After, I want to showcase, is she actually shorter than a regular Figma? Because I was very curious of this and I wanted to do it on camera. Here she is just standing up normally, and here is the Demi-Fiend standing next to her. Yep, so if you do have her standing for whatever reason, you will notice that she is indeed shorter than the average Figma height. But the extra height that you get out of the wings technically makes her a little bit larger than the other Figmas. So, I mean, take that for as you will. I like to think of this as Uber Pixie. She's extra sized, right? Now back to those wings, let's turn her around and take a look at how they actually work. I can pop her off of her stand really quick as long as she cooperates. There we go, easy. The Solid Snake I just reviewed really didn't want to come off of his stand, so I'm glad that she doesn't have that problem. So as you saw, there is a little joint that lets you angle this tiny piece of the wing a little bit. It's not much, and this one was the one that does like to fall off for me, but it is okay. You can now see there's just a little peg there, and it just slides right back on. I probably should be showcasing the other side. If you want the wings to flap or be in any different direction, you can repose that piece so it's not hitting the other. And you can now see there is a little joint in here for controlling the wing. You can move that at any point, make it go in any other direction. If you wanted her to be in some sort of like soaring pose, then there you go, you can do it. And this is how that would look from the front. The wings are probably the showcase piece of the whole Figma because they are transparent. Unfortunately, mine has a bit of a birthmark. You can probably see it right now because of this black background. There is a speck, a tiny little speck right there that is molded into the wing. It looked like dust or dirt, and I tried to get it off of there, but nope, it is actually in the mold. So it is a permanent fixture on my Pixie. So it's probably going to be a thing for anybody else's, but yep, you can see through the wings, which is very cool. They do have a changing color as they go too. They start on the tips as yellow, green in the middle, and blue as they get closer to the shoulders. Really cool look. I kind of expected that because these are going to move, there's going to be big ugly joints on the back here, but typically the back of the Pixie is going to be hidden anyway, and this is really all you're going to see. So this looks really good for what they did. I really like the look of the wings. Let's put them up for now so that we can actually look at the rest of the joints. Everything is pretty straightforward from here on. We have a typical moving neck. Her head has a lot of movement, and it doesn't do anything funny with like the shoulder area. The arms attaching at the shoulders are also very typical. She has a double jointed shoulder, which is really helpful. I appreciate that. The elbows, as expected. I really like the paint that they chose for her outfit that she wears. It's a purple shimmery color in the game, and I'm glad that they got that shimmery color look. It's not coming up perfectly well in my video. It looks almost navy for you, but I assure you it's a iridescent purple look. It's very cool, very indigo. We've already spoken of the hands, but they have a lot of movement as well. This is as high up as she can reach, and that is as far down as she can reach, but of course you can pull them out, twist them around. You can do pretty much anything you need with the hands. That's excellent. One thing I did notice about this Figma, she doesn't have a lot of movement in the waist. So trying to do that pose I was showing before in her key art where she is kind of bending her shoulders down and her hips are up, it was actually kind of tough because I can't get too much movement here. This is about as much as I can get out of the top of the torso, which is really not much. And if that's all I can get, then I can't get much out of the hips at all. That piece just fell off again. In fact, that was, oh, that's the same one that just keeps falling off. Let's just leave it off. There we go. I can finally move it. It was kind of stuck for me. All right, so this is as high up as I can move the hips, which is really just slightly more than standing. It's not even enough to sit. And if I push it backwards, it goes really far, but I can't seem to get it any farther up. So that's about as much as I can get out of the hips. Not too much. Like, she can bend back really far, but can't really bend forward very far. Probably just because of the chest piece getting in the way. But it makes, you know, her actual key art kind of hard to do. It's just what I was trying for the first pose that I had her set up with. So that's kind of unfortunate. The hips have a lot of movement. In fact, as you can see here, even more ridiculous movement than what is even possible. So that is good, because you're not going to be doing that anyway. As long as she can do more than what is expected, then the natural poses are easier to acquire. This is another double jointed piece in the hip here, which is great. The sculpting is really good to keep the lines smooth, so it looks like you don't really see the seam when you can keep the legs in whatever direction you need them to go in, which is great. The knees are just like those elbows. They do exactly what you would expect. They can go back about at a 90-degree angle before they kind of get caught. And then there is the foot. We have the typical Figma ankle joint as well as the toe. The toe in this one weirdly goes down instead of going up. I don't know why that is. Does the other one do that? This one's actually stuck, kind of. Okay. Yeah, this one doesn't move much for me. It goes, that's its down position, this is its up position, and this other one goes way down. I don't know when I would ever want that. These feet are probably not going to move anyway, but yeah, they do, in case anyone out there was curious about Pixie's feet, in which case that's gross. I don't need to hear about it. Anyway, that is everything that we have to discuss about the Pixie Figma. I'm so excited that she is in, and hopefully the Max Factory and Good Smile teams are thinking about doing more Shin Megami Tensei demons or characters that are not from Persona. Nothing against Persona, but let's be honest, Persona gets all the love from them, and Shin Megami Tensei gets shafted. So I am very thrilled that we have Pixie finally. She looks great with the extra models that we made previously. I have personally done lots of reviews and Let's Plays of the Shin Megami Tensei series on my channel, so check those out if you're interested. But for now, thank you all so much for joining me. Remember to like the videos and subscribe for more. I will see you all in the next figure review video. See ya!